So we are making a wreath. We use these Oasis rings. So this is a 12-inch size and this is a 14-inch. We do smaller and larger as well. So today I'm going to do the 12-inch. So to prepare to start with, I take the edge off of the Oasis. You can use a blunt kitchen knife. You don't have to use a sharp knife, it's easy to cut. So we go all the way around, and I like to do the inside as well. So it just gives a better shape when we get the foliage in. The next part is putting the Oasis in the water. We just turn it round gradually so the water goes into the Oasis gradually. So now we've prepared the base, we're going to add the foliage. We like to use this pine foliage because it's really long lasting, so you can make your wreath like a month in advance. So beginning of December you can start making your wreaths. So I've just cut the pine with the scissors. I do like to use a knife, but you don't have to. You just need to make sure when you're cutting that you're going at a slant so that you've got a point to go into the Oasis. Then this foliage that's lower down, that all needs to come off. It comes away easily, and then the stem will go into the Oasis much easier. So we're going to make a ring around the outside foliage and put foliage in the centre as well. So we're going to base it all before we put any pretty things into the design. Okay. This top area needs the foliage putting in, usually in a certain direction, so it's overlapping each other, and then it covers the Oasis better, and then the decorations we'll put on in between, and we can also use the small bits of foliage to go in those gaps as well. We use this base of pine, but you can add in other foliages if you wanted. In these gaps you could use holly or eucalyptus or other garden foliages if you found something you like, but they just might not last as long as the pine, and you might need to replace them during the month. There we go. So that's our base. Okay, so now we've got the base ready. I've chosen some decorations that I'd like to put in. So we've got the cones there, the dried slices, we've got some baubles, bunches of berries. When we put these in, you know, we can spread them around or we can put them in as clusters. And then these are dried lotus pods. Okay, and we've got some nice ribbon here, some string. So I've got some wires here for helping us put the decorations in. So this is a shorter but thicker wire, and this one is a thinner but longer. So they both have their uses. So it depends on what we're putting in and how heavy the things are to which wires we need to use. So if we take a cone to start with, then we lay the wire across the cone and just tease it in between around the pine cone like this, so it fits in, you can't see the wire, and then both the ends of the wire here, and then we twist them. So with this one I've used the thick wire because it needs it because of the weight of the cone. The thin wire just wouldn't hold it. Okay, so that's how we wire the cones. With the orange slices, I'll put them together so they look nice. I'd use a finer wire for these because they're more fragile. So I'll put the wire straight through both of the orange slices, bend it over and twist. Okay, that's those wired. Then the baubles, they could be put together, they could be separate. So basically through the loop and twist. Okay, I have gone for the stronger wire on that one. This is the lotus pods. Okay, so I'm going to go for the stronger wire and we're putting it straight through the back. This area is quite soft, but there's nothing here for us to attach the wire to, so we have to go straight through and bend and then twist. Okay, that's those done. And then with the berries, I think I'm going to split them into a few groups. I'm not spreading them all out, but I'm going to do 4 little clusters. So they've got 5 stems together. I'm going to try the thick wire. So with this, I've made a hook and then putting that onto these wires. Then you hold your thumb on the loop and then twist firmly around. So twisting 3 or 4 times. So if you pull that, it's really solid and the berries aren't going to fall out. So that feels strong and feels nice. So I'll do that again with these, get these ready. Okay. So when you're doing the design for the wreath, you can cluster the items together or you can dot them around. It's really up to you. So I'm going to do a cluster wreath. So I've just cut off a small amount off the ends to level up the wires, but we want a good amount to be going into the oasis for them to be secure. And I'm putting that in at an angle and then straightening it up a bit. We want to balance the design, so I'm going to put the cones over this side. This is going to be the top and this is the bottom, so that when you're twisting the wire around, it just needs to be as tight as you can get it. So they're nice berries. These ones are frosted ones, so it smells nice with the orange slices and the pine cones and the pine. Just need to straighten that up, get that in so it feels secure. So that is most of our decorations at the moment. We can see at the end if we want to add anything else in. We're just going to make the bow next to fill this space, and then we will add in the small bits of foliage and anything else, decorations that we want to. Okay, so I've chosen this nice ribbon. I think it goes well, it's got a bit of sparkle. It has got a wire edge which can be helpful for bending around and shaping the bow. So to start with, I cut the ribbon at an angle. So when we make these bows, see we've got the outside pattern, which is helpful. You keep the pattern on the outside and make a loop, okay? So we could have a longer tail here, there. We've got the loop here, and then we squash the front to the back. But I'm going to do a 4 loop bow, so it's bigger, I think more in proportion with the wreath. So then around the back and around the front, okay. And then cutting the ribbon at the same angle as the other one, okay, or the opposite to the other one. There we go. And then this just needs gathering up in the middle, okay. So you're holding the ribbon from top and bottom there. I've got the thick wire, so that goes across the front, bending round, and then squashing it in the middle, squashing the wire, and then twisting this tightly as close as you can to the ribbon, twisting it round a few times. We need to put the wires in at an angle so that they've got enough anchorage because of the depth of the oasis. We don't want to just go straight down, we want to go in at an angle, and then we can twist it and push it into the right place. So I think that looks nice. And then we're just going to finish off with the gaps that you can see around the edge here. So we could have another cluster of berries here, probably make it more balanced. So I'm using the small pieces of pine for filling in the gaps, but like I said, you could choose to use a different foliage. Okay. So it doesn't need that much more. It's just when you look in the side, you just might see the gaps. So if it's on your door and you're looking at it this side, you might think, oh, I want to fill that in, just make it a bit fuller. So this is our finished design, but we're just going to put some string on so that you can hang it. This is the backing, so it's just a hard plastic, there's no hanger on there. So with the string, so you need to just sort of weave it in amongst the decorations and foliage so that it does go down to the base. Then I like to do a knot like this because I think that it's more secure. Straight round and pull it tight. There we go. So your wreath is ready and it's ready to hang. Okay. So this time we've got a base that I've already prepared, and we're going to add the decorations in differently. Okay, so with this one, I've got a lot of items that are already on sticks, so you're not wiring as much, and we're going to dot these around and rather than cluster them. Okay, so it's sort of a bit of taking in turns with things, but it doesn't have to be rigid in the order that you're doing. Okay, it's just making it look nice and balanced. So with these baubles, I've got them on opposite sides, but I've got one higher than the other. Okay, so that it's not looking too symmetrical. So that's how it's looking so far. So I've got these nice ribbons here. I've got this one with the berries on, this one with the trees on. Both of them I think would look nice. So we're going for a grey modern look. So with the bow, then we loop it round, okay, leaving the tail longer, and we've made a loop, put the front to the back, and then making 2 more loops there. So that's this design, and then we just put a string tie around the top for hanging on your door. Okay, so that's the back, which is nice against your door, and then that's the finished design.